Now, just in terms of what we will be discussing today in the hour that we have with you, the first part of our webinar, I will be presenting, and then I'll be handing over to Joe, who is our anti-money laundering and in particular customer due diligence and source of funds guru. But I want to set the scene in talking about why there potentially is a concern from an anti-money laundering perspective when funds come from China, the ways in which an anti-money laundering risk can arise, what you need to do then in terms of looking at anti-money laundering checks and customer due diligence and source of funds as well. So Joe will also be covering those last two aspects of the talk.
Some of the questions that you need to ask yourself around client due diligence is, did you get the original ID documentation to start off with? If it's been certified, then do you know who certifies them, where they've been certified, and is it officially someone who can certify those documents? If any of the documentation that you've got is actually in Chinese, do you get these documents independently translated? So we want them to be translated not by the client, okay? So we want that independent translation. Are you using electronic verification? So electronic verification will help us. We can put documents, for example, through some of the electronic ID and verification businesses that are helping us these days with our electronic ID&V. Some useful things that we can put through there and checks that we can do with electronic verification. Have you ensured and checked if the client is a politically exposed person, for example, or if they're on the sanctions list? So a couple of things that we'd need to be looking for there. And if the client is a company, how are you checking those beneficial owners and who is the ultimate beneficial owner? But of course, we've been talking about individuals today.